Did you know that over 85% of people struggle with low self-esteem at some point in their lives? This is a staggering number, and it's a clear indication that something is fundamentally wrong with how we perceive ourselves and our worth. Low self-esteem can manifest in various ways, from doubting our abilities to feeling unworthy of love and success. It's a silent epidemic that affects people of all ages, backgrounds, and walks of life. This staggering statistic highlights a pervasive issue in our society. We have become conditioned to seek validation from external sources rather than trusting our own inherent worth. From a young age, we are taught to look outside ourselves for approval. Whether it's grades in school, likes on social media, or praise from our peers, we are constantly seeking external validation to feel good about ourselves. This external focus can lead to a never-ending cycle of seeking approval and feeling inadequate when we don't receive it. We chase likes on social media, crave approval from our peers, and measure our success based on societal standards that leave us feeling empty and unfulfilled. The pressure to conform to these standards can be overwhelming, leading to stress, anxiety, and depression. We start to believe that our worth is determined by how others perceive us, rather than recognizing our intrinsic value. This constant comparison to others can erode our self-esteem and make us feel like we are never enough. This constant need for external validation comes at a steep price. It can lead to a loss of self-identity, as we mold ourselves to fit the expectations of others. We may find ourselves engaging in behaviors that are not true to who we are, just to gain approval. This can create a sense of inner conflict and dissatisfaction, as we are not living authentically. Over time, this can take a toll on our mental and emotional well-being, leading to feelings of emptiness and disconnection. It robs us of our joy, stifles our creativity, and prevents us from living authentically. When we are constantly seeking approval from others, we may be afraid to take risks or express our true selves. This can stifle our creativity and prevent us from pursuing our passions. We may also miss out on opportunities for personal growth and fulfillment, as we are too focused on meeting the expectations of others. By constantly seeking external validation, we are giving away our power and diminishing our capacity for happiness. When we tie our self-worth to the opinions of others, we give away our power and diminish our capacity for happiness. It's important to recognize that our worth is not determined by external factors but by our own beliefs and values. By shifting our focus inward and cultivating self-acceptance, we can break free from the cycle of seeking external validation. This involves recognizing our strengths, embracing our imperfections, and being true to ourselves. It's a journey of self-discovery and self-love that can lead to a more fulfilling and authentic life. It's time to break free from this destructive cycle and reclaim the power that resides within each of us. By focusing on our own intrinsic worth and valuing ourselves for who we are, we can build a strong foundation of self-esteem. This allows us to live authentically, pursue our passions, and create meaningful connections with others. It's a journey that requires courage and self-compassion, but the rewards are immeasurable. Let's take the first step towards reclaiming our power and living a life that is true to who we are. Defining your own worth is not a selfish act. It is an act of radical self-love. It is about recognizing that you are worthy of love, respect, and happiness simply because you exist. When you define your own worth, you take back control of your life. You set your own standards, pursue your own passions, and create a life that is true to your values and aspirations. This shift in perspective is transformative. It allows you to silence the inner critic that tells you you're not good enough, smart enough, or worthy enough. It empowers you to embrace your imperfections, celebrate your strengths, and step into the world with confidence and authenticity. From a young age, we are bombarded with messages about who we should be and how we should behave. These messages come from all directions: advertisements, social media, school, and even our families. They paint a picture of an ideal life that is often unattainable and unrealistic. Society tells us to fit in, to conform, to strive for a narrow definition of success that often leaves us feeling lost and unfulfilled. We are encouraged to follow a predetermined path, get good grades, secure a high-paying job, buy a house, and start a family. But what if this path doesn't resonate with us? We are taught to value external achievements over internal fulfillment, leading us down a path of constant comparison and self-doubt. Social media exacerbates this issue, as we constantly see curated versions of other people's lives, making us feel inadequate. The trophies and accolades we chase often leave us feeling empty. This pressure to conform can be suffocating. It can feel like we are trapped in a never-ending cycle of trying to meet expectations that are not our own. The stress and anxiety that come with this can be overwhelming, affecting our mental and physical health. It can lead us to make choices that are not aligned with our values, to pursue goals that do not bring us joy, and to live lives that are not our own. We may find ourselves in careers that drain us, holding diplomas that feel meaningless, and looking in the mirror, questioning who we have become. It's time to challenge these expectations, to question the status quo, and to create a new definition of success that is rooted in authenticity and self-acceptance. We must learn to listen to our inner voice, to pursue passions that ignite our souls, and to live lives that are true to who we are. Only then can we find true fulfillment and happiness. Social media has created a culture of comparison that can be particularly damaging to our self-worth. Every day, millions of people log into their accounts seeking connection and validation. However, what they often find is a distorted reflection of reality that can lead to feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. We scroll through carefully curated feeds, comparing our lives to the highlight reels of others, and feeling inadequate as a result. These highlight reels are often filled with moments of joy, success, and beauty, but they rarely show the struggles, failures, and mundane aspects of everyday life. We forget that social media is a filtered version of reality, a carefully constructed illusion that rarely reflects the full picture. Influencers and everyday users alike edit their photos, choose the best angles, and apply filters to present an idealized version of themselves. This can create a false sense of reality that we mistakenly compare our own lives to. This constant exposure to unrealistic standards can leave us feeling anxious, depressed, and dissatisfied with our own lives. The pressure to measure up to these unattainable ideals can be overwhelming, leading to a negative impact on our mental health and overall well-being. It's essential to remember that social media is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill. While it has the potential to harm, it also offers opportunities for positive interactions and meaningful connections. By being mindful of how we use social media, we can mitigate its negative effects. We can choose to use it to connect with others, to share our stories, and to build community. Social media can be a platform for support, inspiration, and learning when used intentionally and thoughtfully. Or we can allow it to fuel our insecurities and diminish our sense of self-worth. The choice is ours. By being aware of the impact social media has on our mental health, we can take steps to use it in a way that enhances our lives rather than detracts from it. Breaking free from the need for external validation is a journey, not a destination. It's a process of unlearning old patterns of behavior, challenging limiting beliefs, and cultivating a deep sense of self-love and acceptance. It requires us to be courageous, to be vulnerable, and to embrace the unknown with open hearts and minds. This journey is not always easy, but it is always worth it. When we free ourselves from the chains of approval, we open ourselves up to a world of possibilities. We give ourselves permission to be our authentic selves, to pursue our passions without fear of judgment, and to live lives that are full of meaning and purpose. I used to be a people pleaser. I craved validation from others and went to great lengths to gain their approval. This need for external validation stemmed from a deep-seated belief that I wasn't good enough on my own. It wasn't until I started my own journey of self-discovery that I realized the power of embracing my authentic self. Through therapy, journaling, and mindful self-reflection, I began to dismantle the limiting beliefs that had held me captive for so long. I started to challenge the negative self-talk, to celebrate my strengths, and to embrace my imperfections. This process wasn't always comfortable, but it was always liberating. Embracing your authentic self is a radical act of rebellion in a world that often tries to fit us into neat little boxes. It's about celebrating your unique quirks, your passions, your values, and your dreams, even if they don't align with societal expectations. When you embrace your authentic self, you give others permission to do the same. You create a ripple effect of self-acceptance that can inspire those around you to break free from the chains of conformity and embrace their own truths. Remember, you are not defined by your past mistakes, your perceived flaws, or the opinions of others. You are worthy of love and belonging just as you are. Your story has the power to inspire others. When you share your journey of self-discovery and acceptance, you create a space for others to do the same. By being vulnerable and sharing your experiences, you chip away at the stigma surrounding mental health and create a more compassionate and supportive world. Remember, you are not alone in this journey. There are countless resources available to support you along the way. Seek out therapists, support groups, or online communities where you can connect with others who understand what you're going through. Start by identifying the areas in your life where you seek external validation. Is it in your relationships, your career, or your appearance? Once you've identified these areas, you can start to challenge the beliefs that are driving your need for approval. Remember, building self-worth is an ongoing process. It's about making small, consistent choices each day that align with your values and bring you closer to your authentic self. Start by practicing self-compassion, setting healthy boundaries, and prioritizing your own well-being. Your journey to self-worth starts today. Take the first step and embrace the incredible, worthy, and unique individual that you are.